We have a shocking Rams update as a report reveals some pretty shocking and wild trade details about what the Rams almost did on draft day. We're also talking about Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, what Sean McVay will do with the two, and how it's looking right now in OTAs. All on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 70% now of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel. So you're watching the videos, but you're still not pressing that subscribe button. Do me a favor. Press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. I do want to say Joshua Feinhersh will be back in a couple episodes. He's just going to off for a couple days, so he will be back very, very shortly. I will be here in the meantime talking about some pretty intriguing Rams updates. As we're talking today about almost making a deal. Now, I get it when you're talking about almost and could have happened. It's like almost not that interesting, right, when you say almost. But the reason why this is very, very intriguing is because a video came out kind of blindsided me, at least. I don't know how you guys feel in the comments. You can let me know, but I did not expect this story to come out, especially the way it's kind of coming out, right? We're having the Panthers releasing some excellent behind-the-scenes footage of the 2025 draft, including their negotiations with the Rams, who wanted to move up from 26 to number 8. So you see Ian Rappaport here saying the draft remains the best. Love these moments. They're out. All right, T-Mac. So obviously that's a little quote of the conversation. You guys haven't seen the video, you can go ahead and check it out. Either Ian Rappaport's quote sheet or look at Josh Norris, it looks like, on Twitter. You can check him out and see the video of the Panthers and the Rams negotiating, right? We don't really get the Rams side of negotiations, but we hear from the Panthers GM saying, hey, look, we obviously really want to see what we can do. Someone in the room was saying they really wanted to make a trade, even though obviously they're picking at number 8. They know going from 8 to 26 was going to be a big drop-off, but of course they were going to ask for everything, right, for that kind of a movement. But the Rams were literally sitting there saying, this is our counter offer, this is what we're offering. And then the Panthers went back and said, this is what we're accepting, this is our deal. And the Panthers were sitting back waiting to see. While the Panthers were on the clock, all the Panthers were doing were sitting and waiting for the Rams to call them, see what their decision was. And so the Rams were really just one call away, essentially one decision away from moving up from the 26th pick of the draft to the 8th pick of the draft of this year's class. What's very intriguing about this, in my opinion, who were the Rams trading up for? Was it a quarterback they liked? Doubt that. Was it a receiver they liked? Ted McMillan, right? Obviously, T-Mac is the player who ended up going to the Panthers with the 8th pick of the draft. Very intriguing to see that the Rams wanted to go up. Very intriguing name, I think, that some people have said in the comments of this tweet actually were replying to it and saying had to be Colston Loveland, the tight end. So it's very intriguing. Were the Rams that interested in drafting a tight end? Were they that interested in drafting Colston Loveland? We heard the rumors before the draft started, right? We were saying, at 26, ideal pick for the Rams, maybe Colston Loveland. We didn't think he was going to make it that far. He obviously didn't even come close to making it that far. But it's intriguing. Were the Rams really going to trade up and trade a lot of pieces to get to number 8 just to take a tight end? That kind of makes me hesitant. If that was the case, I don't know if I love that. Or were the Rams saying, hey, look, we got Devontae Adams, we got Puka Nacua. Yes, we brought Tutu Atwell back. Yes, we have Jordan Whittington. We could find a receiver later in the draft, but we really like what Ted McMillan brings to the table. We really like Ted McMillan learning behind Devontae Adams, similar build of a receiver, at least similar size, right? They're like 6'3", 6'4", almost pretty big body receivers. And so was that kind of the mindset? Why were they on the phone with the Panthers when the Panthers were on the clock? What were the Rams talking about? Why were they so close to making a deal? I don't know. I don't have details on it, but I want you guys to give your guesses down below in the comment section. I find that super intriguing that the Rams, 26th pick in the draft, were on the phone with the Panthers about to move up. It was really in the Rams' hands. Snead had the decision to make. They heard the offer on the table from the Panthers, which is probably asking for a whole lot. Ultimately, they decided to say no. But who do you think the Rams really wanted to trade up for? I don't think we'll ever hear the truth. But who do you guys think the Rams really wanted to trade up for in that part of the draft? Let me know your guesses down below in the comment section. Moving on from that, we're talking about 17 and 12. Yeah, we're talking about Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Obviously, look, Puka has been very fortunate early in his NFL career to have played alongside Cooper Kupp and now playing alongside Devontae Adams, learning behind both guys, obviously, as both guys are legends in this era of football, whether you want to say Devontae Adams is a Hall of Famer or Cooper Kupp is a Ring of Honor player. Either way, pretty great players that Puka Nacua has had the fortunate reality of learning behind, right? Learning alongside, playing alongside. Davante Adams coaches up Puka on route running during OTA. So this comes to us from Cam Da Silva of the Rams Wire. We have a video that came out on Twitter. Rams posting, the Rams actual Twitter page posting, iron sharpens iron. You guys can see the tweet here. That's pretty cool to see. Davante Adams, Puka Nacua. Go to the tweet if you haven't seen it yet. You can kind of see Puka's just not really talking about route running or teaching him how to run a route, but it looks like the break out of his route, or like the kind of the jump off the snap, right? As Puka kind of is ready to take off, kind of this little stutter step he's showing him. Obviously, we're not seeing it here in the video, but it's cool. If you guys go watch the video, you kind of see them working together, and that's just the little things, right? Puka Nacua, third year in the league. He's already obviously a very good player in his own right, yet he still has, one, a lot to learn, but two, the fact that Davante Adams is willing to go out and teach him this stuff, the minor details of, no, I do this because of X, Y, Z. These are professional athletes. These are incredible players that they know certain things that help themselves succeed, right? And obviously Davante Adams getting over 1,000 yards, for example, last season in such a crazy year for him, it's obviously a testament to how hard he works, his attention to detail, and him passing that on to a guy who already has that attention to detail, that hard work ethic, obviously included in his own right? But still to be teaching that, Puka to be willing to learn that, I think it's obviously very, very incredible to see. I love seeing clips like this. I hope we get some more of them coming up shortly. And obviously we're just here pulling up a little excerpt from the story we're talking about. Nacua Kupp had an incredibly close relationship on and off the field, something Puka called a huge blessing in the first 2 years of his career. He and Adams could have a similar connection for the Rams as the top two receivers, helping each other get better in 2025. Nacua is fortunate to have a couple of top-tier teammates to shadow in Los Angeles. Again, everything I just said, very, very true. I do want to say there is a couple, fan reactions, right? People are very excited. Here's a tweet here coming. This comes to us, I think, from, let me make sure I pull up the right article to make sure I'm at least giving these guys some credit. Shout out to Clutch Points on Yahoo Sports. This is kind of some screenshots we're getting right now from, so essentially just fans, right, coming out on Twitter, responding to the video, saying, that's some great mentorship right here. One fan said, man, this is going to be a tough cover for teams. True. Another fan remarked, barring injury, Puka will be receiver one. That's very interesting to think about. The most dangerous receiver duo in the NFL right now. I kind of agree with that. Always improving growth mindset, another fan said. I think that's obviously shout out to these fans, but obviously, one, it's exciting fans. Fans are getting very excited to see this happen. But two, I think these are all correct comments to make, right? This is so cool to see the Rams, man. Davante Adams, Puka Nacua. Who would have thought that we'd be sitting right here going back to last season? It's very awesome, I think, to see. I'm very excited to see what these two do together this upcoming season. Let me know how you guys feel about the duo in the comment section down below. Is there, by the way, this is random, just to my mind right now. Do you guys have a duo, Puka Adams, kind of some type of nickname for this duo? Let me know what they're saying out there in the Twitter sphere. Or the X sphere. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a nickname for the duo. You guys give your comments down below. Give me a nickname for this duo for this upcoming season. I'm very intrigued what you guys come up with, because I honestly, top of my head, I can't really think of a good one right now. Last but not least, trivia of the day. My favorite part of the episode, where I ask a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Again, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. Bear with me, guys. We had a lot of people comment. A lot of people got this wrong. I did not give multiple choice options, to be fair, but I did want to pull this really fun question up last episode. Or first of all, acknowledge what we did last episode before I go into today's episode. Today's episode trivia of the day. And last episode trivia of the day, the question was this. Who was the head coach for the Rams right before Sean McVay took over? Again, I want to emphasize that. I said right before Sean McVay took over. And we did have quite a few people play along, so bear with me. We're going to have to give a lot of shout-outs here for a second. I love it, by the way. Not mad about it, but I want you guys to bear with me. If you want to get to today's trivia of the day, give me a second. By the way, if you didn't play this trivia of the day, you want to play today's, we'll give you one in a couple minutes. But we had quite a few people I want to shout out first, and I'm super lagging right now, so I apologize if you guys see the video lagging. We'll stay here without my face so you guys don't see the lag going too hard. All right, so here are the guesses for trivia of the day. Again, the question was, who was the head coach for the Rams right before Sean McVay took over. We had Abel saying Jeff Fisher, Kristen saying Jeff Fisher, Easy saying Jeff Fisher, bum self, tried rebuilding the weak at Titans. Oh my glorious St. Louis Rams. I hear ya. Wade Phillips from Benny. We had Blake saying, I'm not sure if anyone is going to see this. We see it, Benny. Or Blake, we see it. See this, but the answer to the question is John Fossil, who was the interim head coach after Jeff Fisher was hired. Hey, he may be on to something there. Shout out to you, Blake. We had Tim saying the great Jeff Fisher. We had Jeff Fisher here from Ben. We had Tony saying Jeff Fisher, of course. We had Cassidy saying Jeff Fisher. By the way, guys, bear with me here. There's a lot more guesses here. Bones took over after Fisher was let go. Shout out to Aaron for the guess. Glider saying Jeff Fisher. Glenn saying answer to Monday Trivia is John Fassel. We had Crow saying it was Fassel as an interim head coach, right? Question mark. That is correct, by the way. I'm sorry to spoil this, but I want to make sure you guys are aware. That was a little bit of a trick I did this last episode, but we'll keep going along here. Jeff Fisher from Thomas was the coach until then the interim was Fassel. Shout out to you, Thomas, for giving both little answers there. I appreciate you. So you are correct. It is Fassel. Bones from Joey. That's Fassel's nickname, by the way. Shout out to you, Joey. Jason saying Jeff Mr. 50-50 Fisher. Appreciate the guess. Floyd saying Jeff Fisher. Brian B saying Fisher with a throw up emoji. Mike saying it was Bones, the special teams coach who took over after Fisher was fired. The Road J will give him credit, saying I forgot about that. Good call. I agree. Great call for those of you who got John Fassel. Keith saying Jeff Fisher, Mr. 7 and 9. William saying I thought it was Jim Fassel, the special teams coach who took over right after Jeff Fisher was fired. Same guy, nickname was Bones. Yup, Edward and Mike agreeing. Max saying Jeff Fisher. John Taylor saying Jeff Fisher. Almost done, guys. Almost done. Len saying Jeff. Oh, a fish always stink. And then we had I think we had more guesses here. Yes, we did. And then we had the Road J Will saying it was Jeff Fisher. Since we beat him in the Super Bowl, he decided to get on the inside and try to ruin us that way. JP saying Jeff Fisher. Appreciate all of you guys for guessing along again at home. I'll give you guys shout outs here real quick. I appreciate all of you guys. Again, everybody, no matter how many guesses, gets a shout out. I apologize for me reading them all out one by one, but I appreciate all of you guys, every single one of you guys, for guessing and playing along with the trivia of the day. No multiple choice. I'm okay with you guys getting it wrong. Do you guys understand why I didn't do multiple choice? I thought it was too easy. If I even mentioned Fassel, I think you guys would have immediately guessed that. So I wanted to trick everybody here. So I appreciate. Shout out to all of you guys for guessing correct. It was John Fassel. Again, he was the interim head coach after Fisher was fired. And then obviously Sean McVay took over after that. So shout out to all of you guys for guessing along with the trivia of the day. Again, if you want a shout out just like these folks got on the next episode, trivia of the day, then go ahead and guess with today's trivia of the day in just a second. Today's trivia of the day is this question here. Which Rams quarterback holds the record for most passing yards in a single game in NFL history? So yes, it happens to be a Rams quarterback that holds the record, but which one of these Rams quarterbacks holds the record is my question. Is it A, Jared Goff? Is it B, Matthew Stafford? Is it C, Kurt Warner? Or is it D, Norm Van Brocklin? Again, which Rams quarterback holds the record for most passing yards in a single game in NFL history? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. I'll give you a shout out just like I did with all those folks on the next episode that I'm on here, the Rams Digest. Again, is it A, Jared Goff, B, Matthew Stafford, C, Kurt Warner, or D, Norm Van Brocklin? Which Rams quarterback holds the record for most passing yards in a single game in NFL history? So I appreciate you guys for bearing with me on that long trivia of the day guesses. I really appreciate all of you guys for playing along. Playing along with today's trivia of the day. If you want a shout out, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you're not subscribed already. That's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I am out.